Hi guys, welcome to this video. This is Prashant. I'm the founder of Word Pandit and I'm starting a special series of videos where I'll pick up one problem a day for the GMAT exam, right? So we'll pick up one question a day. Generally, we'll focus on critical reasoning and occasionally we'll solve the odd short RC. That's something that we'll do, and that's what we'll be allowed to do through this window, this exercise, right, of solving a question a day on YouTube. So that's something that we'll be doing. We'll pick up some interesting problems and I'll take you through those problems. Let's get started with the question for today. The first question that we are solving in this series, it's a critical reasoning question which is based on assumptions. So the first thing that you do is, in order to solve this question, I will analyze this question for you, but all you've got to do is pause this video for the next 60 seconds, solve this question, and then go through the video solution. All you've got to do is pause this video, solve the question, and then go through the video solution. Let's get started with the solution for this question. Now, the first thing that we do is, with any GMAT critical reasoning question that we should do is, we should analyze the argument. Which is the argument here? This is your argument. What does the argument stand for, or what does it represent in this particular case? An argument is a set of facts and conclusions, right? And within this argument, when you adopt this reasoning structure where you provide a fact and you provide a conclusion, somewhere in the middle you have an assumption as well that lies in the middle. And this question actually asks you to identify the assumption of the argument. Now, what is it that this argument talks about? A new initiative by the city's transport authority proposes the introduction of an express bus service to reduce commuting time for workers in the city. So for workers in the city, for people who are going to work, remember, when you talk about workers in a city, they would be going to work on those specific timings, right? For example, if the city works 9 to 5, so 9 p.m. and 5 p.m., that's when you would expect maximum occupancy for this bus service. So they've decided to introduce an express bus service. What will this express bus service do? How will it be different from the other services in the city? This service will operate on dedicated lanes and make fewer stops than the regular buses. So when it operates on dedicated lanes, it makes fewer stops. That means the attempt is to make sure that this express service, and that is what the name suggests, is going to be quicker in nature than the regular bus service. The authority expects that this will encourage more people to leave their cars at home, thus reducing traffic congestion during peak hours. So remember, this question is following the typical cause and effect relationship reasoning, right? So it is now assuming, and this is where we'll find the assumption as well. A, you introduce an express bus service. What does this express bus service do? It essentially makes fewer stops than regular bus services. This, he believes, would encourage people to leave their cars. So all of a sudden, people would be leaving their cars. So I'm marking this with cars and a cross. And this would encourage people to leave their cars at home, which in other words would imply that people would start using this bus service. They are encouraged now to use this bus service. And since people would be encouraged to use this bus service, they would thereby reduce the number of cars on the roads and hence reduce congestion. So effectively, this argument is, through the series of steps, implying that introducing this EB, express bus service, is going to reduce congestion on the roads, right? Now, when does this happen? Your conclusion here is about reducing congestion on the roads. It's not about people adopting this bus service. The conclusion here is, and this is how you spot assumptions, you've got to look at the jump that has been made in the narrative. The jump in the narrative here is introduction of express bus services leads to a reduction in congestion on the roads. How would this be possible? This would be possible in one case, which is that one case where a significant number of people shift, right? You are assuming for it to reduce congestion, then a number of cars should have gone missing on the roads, right? A number of people should have shifted. And once the number of people shift from their cars to this express bus service, then congestion would reduce. It's very vital for us to have this assumption. We find this assumption in option number D. One way of checking the validity of this assumption is you reverse this assumption and see whether it negates the argument. Let's assume a sufficient number of people do not switch from their cars to express bus service. If a sufficient number of people do not shift, that means there is going to be no significant change. If there is going to be no significant change, that means congestion on the roads is not going to reduce. So this is how you can check whether this particular assumption is valid or not. This perfectly fits in our given case. Let's look at the other answer choices as well. Option number A, the cost of maintaining the express bus service will not exceed the current expenditure on public transport. This is not about the cost. Remember, the conclusion is about reducing the congestion. So cost has no correlation with the assumption of the argument. B, commuters currently driving to work are aware of the negative impact their cars have on traffic congestion. Just being aware of the negative impacts does not amount to any action as such. So there is no perceivable action which is happening. See, the main reason commuters prefer driving to work over public transport is the longer travel time associated with regular bus services. Remember, our assumption can only be about the express bus services. It cannot be about the regular bus services. We don't know what happens with the regular bus services, what does not happen with the regular bus services. For us to arrive at the assumption, that has to link express bus services with congestion. E, the express bus service will operate efficiently even during extreme weather conditions. So here he spoke about congestion in general. There was no condition as such. When would this express bus service be effective? Would it be effective during extreme weather conditions, during normal weather conditions? There is no such classification. So this is introducing a new line of thinking which is not there in the argument. In order to identify the assumption, you have to stay within the ambit of the argument. You cannot go beyond the ambit of the argument which has been provided to you. Hence, we stick to option number D, and that is the correct answer. Now, what I would really look forward to, guys, is if you guys analyze this argument. In fact, you pick holes in my explanation and you post them as comments here so that we can have an educated discussion on this question. If we can have that, if we can have a detailed discussion on the question, then your learning is going to improve, right? So that's how you improve your learning, by thinking deeply about these questions and by resonating with these questions. We've got an Ultimate GMAT course running. We'll be launching a batch pretty soon for the Ultimate GMAT course. So you can check out the details in the link given below. And this is how I teach. This is how we are going to study critical reasoning on this channel. Most definitely subscribe to this channel because you'll find a lot of relevant GMAT related content coming here on a daily basis. So spare 8 to 10 minutes a day and I assure you, you will learn something valuable on a daily basis through this channel. This is Prashant signing off, and as always, the two words that I end all my videos on: happy learning.